So, who is your favorite artist in Bollywood?
There are so many. I think because I have grown up listening to all the greats, I love Mohammed Rafi Saab, I love Kishore Kumarji, I love Lata ji. I just think there's some magic in those voices that will never be replicated.
हमारे दर्शकों को ये बताइए कि आपने पढ़ाई कौन सी की और फिर सिंगिंग
So, so believe it or not, when I was young, I never really wanted to necessarily pursue music, but I loved studying. I think my parents really ingrained in me that I was an A-star student. We have GCSEs here in the UK, so I got 11 A-stars for my GCSEs. I was always a student of the year, topper, and my degree is in business and psychology.
आपने बताया कि सारेगामापा वहाँ आपने ट्राई करा, तो इसके बाद कोई यूके में भी ऐसा रियलिटी शो था जहाँ पे आपने परफॉर्म किया?
Yeah, absolutely. So here we have a very big BBC channel, which is called the BBC Asian Network, and they did a massive competition back in 2005. It was called Unsung, and they had about 1,500 entries. I remember hearing this on radio, and I sent in a tape. I was singing a Robbie Williams song. And there I had no idea. So I was one of the three, lucky three, thankfully. I had no idea when I went there who would be in the audience. We had Sukhshinder Shindarji, Gurdas Manji was there.
खुश रही, ये
खुश
कैसे
रही।
बना, इसका सबब पंजाबी का अगर वर्ड यूज करें तो कैसे ये गाना आया और फिर गाया गया और बहुत ही अच्छा गाया?
Oh, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. Kushne is a very special song for me. Normally I write my own songs. This song was actually came to me. It's written by a really talented writer in India. His name is Nirmal. And then my father really kind of embedded all of that in me and has supported me all the way through. My whole family have. They've been wonderful. Kushre, I remember playing, and the reason Kushre really stands out to me is because my grandfather, whenever you meet him, or whenever I touch his feet, or whenever you say bye, you always say Kushro. Kushro. He'd heard the song, so he really liked it. He was very excited, and then he left us before.
तो मन में आता है कभी कि मैं एक्टिंग की तरफ ही जाऊँ?
Not initially, but then I got approached for a few roles, and so I wasn't sure. I turned down a couple, and then I took on one, and that was an Eros Now production. It was called Operation Cobra, and I played like a spy agent. I actually played a double role, and that was my first role. I played double role, and now I've just signed my first musical. कुछ खोया सा लगे इन होठों पे ये हंसी झूठी लगे तेरी इन बातों में कुछ छुपा लगे।
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਲਿੰਕ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਨੇਹਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹਾਂ ਚਾਹ ਦਾ ਕੱਪ ਸਨੇਹਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚਾਹ ਪੀਣ ਆਏ ਆ ਉਹ ਆਏ ਆ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ। ਇੱਕ ਫੋਨ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਇਆ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਤੋਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸੱਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੇ ਹੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਸਵੀਕਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ। ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਉਸ ਯੂਕੇ ਬੇਸਡ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਦੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਮਕਬੂਲ ਗਾਇਕ ਨੇ ਨਵੀਨ ਕੁੰਦਰਾ। ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਗੀਤ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਸੰਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਗੀਤ ਹੈ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਗੀਤ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਤੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਰਹੀ। ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬੜੀ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਚਾਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੀਣ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ। ਬੜਾ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਹੈ। ਘਰੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਂਟਰ ਹੋਏ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਵਾਈਬ ਆਈ। ਜਿੰਨੀ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਵਾਈਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਘਰੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਐਂਟਰ ਹੋਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਈ, ਉਨੇ ਹੀ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨੇ ਨਵੀਨ ਕੁੰਦਰਾ। ਆਓ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਨਵੀਨ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਚਾਹ ਦਾ ਕੱਪ ਸਨੇਹਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਨਵੀਨ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਮੇਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੀਮਤੀ ਸਮਾਂ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ।
Thank you so much. I'm so pleased to have you here. It's lovely to have you home. you've traveled Saat Samundar Par all the way to be
Yeah.
here. So it's absolutely wonderful, and it's lovely to be here with you and all the viewers watching.
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ। ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਨਵੀਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਜ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਹੋਏਗੀ, ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਕਰਾਂਗੀ, ਪਰ ਨਵੀਨ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਤੇ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਸੋ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਨਵੀਨ ਦੀ ਇਸ ਸਫ਼ਰ ਦੀ शुरुआत ਦੀ। नवीन, आपके मम्मा वो म्यूजिक को बड़ा पसंद करते थे, गाते थे, उनको देख देख के आपको शौक हुआ गाने का?
Yeah, so actually, it's more my father.
Mhm.
Actually, he used to sing in the car. Our first car didn't have a radio, so Dad would sing, and he would sing all the old Kishore Kumarji songs and Muhammad Rafi songs. So I was in the back of the car as a young kid, and I was listening to my dad sing, "Oh mere dil ke चैन चैन आए मेरे दिल को दुआ कीजिए." That was my introduction. I had never heard the original songs until much later in life. But I think having that sense of live music around me, none of my family they're not a musical family, but they're a music loving family. So they've always we've always had songs and music in the house. And growing up here in the UK, there was a real mixture of kind of English and like American, like Western stuff,
Yeah.
mixed with Bollywood. So we always had that. And obviously I'm Punjabi. I know you say I can't speak Punjabi. My Punjabi extends to Bra! That's about as much Punjabi as I can speak.
Yeah.
But I sing in Punjabi and I sing in Hindi.
Yes.
Because that's actually, it's through our music that I've discovered my mother tongue and that language, and that's what's really kept me connected back
Yeah.
to those roots. But as a songwriter, now I write in Hindi, Punjabi and English.
Yeah. But आप जब गाते हैं ना पंजाबी में, तो कोई कह ही नहीं सकता कि आप पंजाबी बोल नहीं सकते।
Thank God. That means I've done my homework. It's really interesting. This is an observation that I found. When you sing in Hindi or Punjabi, your accent and your dialect has to be absolutely perfect.
Right.
And I remember growing up watching shows like Saregama, which I eventually ended up going on to that show. But I watched those and I remember the judges being so particular about the diction and the pronunciation. Whereas in English and in West, in American pop and English, like the less clearly pronounced it is, the cooler it is.
Right.
So you'll find they never pronounce the words absolutely perfect. You listen to some of my favorite artists like Michael Jackson or whatever, I can't even understand half of the stuff that he's saying because the accent is so kind of it's not as pure, it's not as clean. It's specifically designed to be very sort of percussive. So there's a big difference there, and whenever I sing in both languages, I always have to adopt that as well.
So who is your favorite artist in Bollywood?
In Bollywood, there are so many. I think because I have grown up listening to all the greats, I love Muhammad Rafi Saab, I love Kishore Kumarji, I love Lata Ji. I just think there's some magic in those voices that will never be replicated.
Right.
So I love that classical. I love it so much that I created a whole concert series called Voice of Legends, which is my tribute to those great artists, because I believe there is something magical in the purity, in their riyaz, and in the writing and composition of their songs that just make them so special. I also, then, of the next generation, I love Sonu Nigam ji. I think if it wasn't for me seeing him perform live in concert, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I remember I went to India for the first time and bought an album of his called Divana.
Oh.
And I remember hearing, I was a young kid, maybe 13, 14, and I listened to that whole album, and after I finished the last song, I was like, I want to become a singer. This is what I want to do. So I really owe a lot to Sonu ji. Again, like, I love Udit Narayan ji and Kumar Sanu ji, and now of course you have Arijit Singh, who I absolutely love. Vishal Mishra, I think his voice is amazing. There's a lot of artists, but I would say they're the ones that really kind of influenced me. And then on the Punjabi side, my favorite is Gurdas Mann ji. I'm very lucky to have met him, to have received his blessings, and yeah.
ओके, सो हमारे दर्शकों को ये बताइए कि आपने पढ़ाई कौन सी की और फिर सिंगिंग फील्ड का कनेक्शन?
So, so believe it or not, when I was young, I never really wanted necessarily to pursue music, but I loved studying. I think my parents really ingrained in me that whatever you do it well, commit yourself 100%. So my studies and everything, like I made sure I was an A-star student. We have GCSEs here in the UK, so I got 11 A stars for my GCSEs. I was always, a student of the year, topper, and my degree is in business and psychology. So I enjoyed all of those. That's why I wanted to make sure before this interview. That's why I actually asked her before we started. I said, are you asking me any math questions, any biology, any science, anything like this? Because I'll do my revision and make sure I have the answers correct. But I think I like to be prepared. I like to study. I like to give it my all. And so my parents, the one thing they said to me is, you can do whatever you want to do, but just make sure you have your education. Make sure you have a solid backing.
Right.
So I have a degree in business and psychology. I worked in finance straight out of university, but I was always doing music on the side.
That's
And
very great.
I guess business and psychology kind of comes in quite handy in being a musician and a songwriter,
Right,
because the music is a business, and the psychology behind it is how you reach into people's hearts.
Yes.
And so yeah.
या सो आपने बहुत अच्छी तरह पढ़ाई और सिंगिंग को बैलेंस कर लिया।
yeah.
हमारे पास गिटार,
Yes.
तो आप म्यूजिक के अलावा गाते तो बहुत अच्छा है ही, कौन कौन से इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स आप बजाना ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं?
So I love to play the piano keys, harmonium, guitar, and a lot of composition work I tend to do sort of at home in my home studio, and just make songs. So it's nice because with a keyboard you can pretty much play anything, any sound instrument that you want. Strings you can do synthesizers, whatever. And I learned guitar just because it's a lot easier to carry a guitar around than a big piano. So I learned that as well. But yeah, they're pretty much instruments. I guess the important one is this one here for me.
राइट। सो आपने बताया कि सारेगामापा वहाँ आपने ट्राई करा, फिर उसके बाद कोई यूके में भी ऐसा रियलिटी शो था जहाँ पे आपने परफॉर्म किया?
Yeah, absolutely. So here we have a very big BBC channel, which is called the BBC Asian Network, and they did a massive competition back in 2005. It was called Unsung. And they had about 1,500 entries. I remember hearing this on radio, and I sent in a tape. I was singing a Robbie Williams song, and I sent in the tape, and out of 1,500 they narrowed it down to 3, and out of those 3, the 3 artists, they got to perform a live showcase, which was in Birmingham at the Symphony Hall. And there I had no idea. So I was one of the 3, lucky 3, thankfully. I had no idea when I went there who would be in the audience.
Right.
We had Sukhshinder Shindaji, Gurdas Manji was there. I think there were so many artists, like Rishi Rich was there. We had like Jenny Singh, his daughter Mona was there. Like just the cream of the cream, the best of the Asian music industry. They were all there. So I got really nervous then, but I also knew that this is my one chance to really sing my heart out and show people, what it is. And I think that's for every artist. They always just need a platform to showcase their talent on. That was mine, and luckily I won the competition that night. And one of the judges was actually my now manager, and I really wanted to sing well because I really wanted him to manage me, because he was actually managing an artist from Calgary at the time, whose name is Raghav. And Raghav was the first South Asian artist to break into the mainstream charts over here. So I was really impressed by that. I thought, wow, this is amazing. There's an apna banda on the on the mainstream charts. And so my manager's name is Nairan, and he manages me now. So you never know what opportunity, whenever you step on stage, you perform, you never know where it leads to. And we've been working together ever since. So it's coming up to 20 years of us working together, actually.
That's very nice. खुश रही, ये
खुश
कैसे
रही।
बना, इसका सबब पंजाबी का अगर वर्ड यूज करें तो कैसे ये गाना आया और फिर गाया गया और बहुत ही अच्छा गाया?
Oh, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. You know, Kushrei is a very special song for me. Normally, I write my own songs. This song was actually came to me. It's written by a really talented writer in India. His name is Nirman, and he's written a lot of big Punjabi songs.
जी.
And this came to me through T-Series, who I always wanted to work with. They're the biggest label ever.
Right.
But I remember hearing so many, because all my life I've been an independent artist. So I've never signed to a record label or anything, because I just feel when you are creating art,
कि
that's very
बन के,
special.
बन के नहीं हो पाता.
Yeah, exactly. It's special to you. You know, you don't want to force it. You don't want it. And it belongs to you. And when you release it, it belongs to the world. But I was very lucky that I was sent this song, and you know, I said, okay, that's fine. I loved the song. I heard it. I fell in love with it, and I said, I'd love to record this song.
बिल्कुल.
So I went in and recorded it, and I just got really emotional singing the song, because it is a really emotional song.
Right.
I remember going into the studio, and I said, look, the vibe isn't right in here. I can't record it just like this. I asked them to turn down the lights. We lit a few candles in the studio. And by the end of that song, I was actually crying. I was in tears. Where I go really high and I start singing. Because I think there's just something in the emotion of when you put words to music and they marry perfectly,
जी.
that really, really hit me. So I did pour a lot of emotion into that vocal, and then there's probably even more emotion when it came out, because I lost my grandfather, my Dadaji, just at the time when the song was coming out, and he was probably my biggest supporter.
Yeah.
In terms of where I got my talent from. He was so excited because he used to sing, he used to do radio, he used to do broadcasting, he used to do journalism, drama. He was actually the artistic one in the family, and passed it on to my father. And then my father really kind of, embedded all of that in me and has supported me all the way through. My whole family have. They've been wonderful. But Kushrei, I remember playing, and the reason Kushrei really stands out to me is because my grandfather, whenever you meet him, or whenever I touch his feet, or whenever you say bye, he would always say Kushro. Kushro. So, and he died just 3 days before it came out. He'd heard the song, so he really liked it. He was very excited, and then he left just before. So, and now when you listen to that song, it almost feels like the kind of lyrics that someone, like, he may be saying to me from the other side. And that's the magic of music and songs, I think. They mean different things to different people. So it works if you're in a relationship. It works if you've lost someone you love. It works in so many different situations.
Right. और मैं गाना सुने बिना तो बिल्कुल नहीं जाऊंगी.
Okay, I'll leave the guitar there for one moment. I'll just sing you a few lines. I haven't sung it in so long as well. Can you believe? Because it's one of those songs that you don't get to sing in concert or at the millas that we have over here, because it's a bit more of an emotional song. Although every other event, they want dance music, they want party music. So. तू रह चाहे किसे देना पर खुश रही, दिलों कट दे चाहे मैनू पर खुश रही, जे लोड़ पवे तैनू मेरी आवाज दे, तू खुश ते नहीं बिना मेरे पर खुश रही, जिन्ने पल भी मैं नाल रहा तेरे, चेहरे ते मुस्कान हुंदी सी तेरे, डर लगदा मैनू तेरे नाजुक दिल लई, वेख नहीं सकदा हंजू मैं तेरे, जिन्ना सहना मैं सह लूं तू ना सही, जे मिल जावां किते तैनू तू चुप रही, तू रह चाहे किसे दे नाल पर खुश रही, दिलों कड दे चाहे मैनू पर खुश रही, जे लोड़ पवे तैनू मेरी आवाज दे, तू खुश ते नहीं बिना मेरे पर खुश रहे.
बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब.
Thank you.
थैंक यू. और बंदगी,
Yeah.
एक खुश रही वाला रोमांटिक, और
Yeah.
बंदगी बड़ा पॉजिटिव जो मैसेज उसमें आपने दिया है.
Yeah.
बहुत ही अच्छी जगह वो शूट भी आपने किया ना.
Yeah, we shot that in Italy. It's really fun. I took a holiday with my wife out to Italy, and she filmed it actually walking backwards on a phone, and I was walking forwards, and it was an experiment, you know, because I believe music is a universal language.
Right.
So the story, you know, I thought, what if I was to go take this love song that's written in Hindi and Urdu, and go to a completely foreign country with some balloons and just walk the streets and pass these balloons to people in the street and see what would happen. So it's actually a reality music video. It's not planned, not staged, not rehearsed, nothing. We just walk the streets of the most romantic city in the world, and you know, Rome, Venice, and we just thought, let's give it a go. And that's what that music video is. So if you get a chance, go onto YouTube, check it out. It's called Bandagi, and I'll sing just a few lines for you.
बिल्कुल.
तू मेरी बंदगी, तू मेरी दिल लगी, तू मेरी जिंदगी, तू ही मेरी जान, तू मेरी चांदनी, तुझसे है रोशनी, तू है वो हर खुशी, तू मेरी पहचान. ये तेरा मेरा मिलना कोई इत्तेफाक नहीं था, किस्मत की लकीरों में तेरा नाम लिखा था. मैं रब से मांगता था, खुदा से ये दुआ की, ज़मीं पे हो खुदारा वो जन्नत सा नजारा. तू मेरी बंदगी, तू मेरी दिल लगी, तू मेरी जिंदगी, तू ही मेरी जान, तू मेरी चांदनी, तुझसे है रोशनी, तू है वो हर खुशी, तू मेरी पहचान.
बिल्कुल. इस गीत में ना 2 वर्ड्स, इत्तेफाक और किस्मत.
Yeah.
इत्तेफाक बना और किस्मत में लिखा हुआ था, और आज हम मिले.
Absolutely, absolutely, you're so right. Absolutely.
जी.
That's life, isn't it?
बिल्कुल. सब कुछ जो है लिखा, जो है उसके बिना, मतलब जो भगवान ने लिख दिया कि
Yeah.
ऐसे बननी है वो चीज, तो हमने मिलना था और मिल गए.
Absolutely.
कुछ बातें हमने करी म्यूजिक की, और आपको बहुत ज़्यादा जो है अचीवमेंट्स मिली हैं लाइफ में, अपने पेरेंट्स की ब्लेसिंग के साथ, भगवान की ब्लेसिंग के साथ. रॉयल फैमिली से आपको इनविटेशन आया, और कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा वहाँ का?
That's, you know, sometimes you make dreams. You say, I want to have a #1 song. I want to be known. I want to perform on stage. And there's other dreams that you don't actually make yourself, but they are dreams come true. Being invited to sing for the royal family, I never thought I would get that call. My manager called me up and he said, Navin, the royal family want you to perform for them. It's like, he must be joking. I was like, you don't need to prank me, Naren. It's okay. You don't need to joke about it. He's like, no, really. They want me to. What, really? And then I put the phone down. I was thinking, I had 2 questions in my head. Number 1, what am I going to wear? And number 2, what am I going to sing? And but it was such an honor to go there, to be invited, to be recognized as someone who represents our community here in the UK. And you know, thankfully I'm lucky to work alongside, he was Prince Charles and now he's King Charles, he's king of the country, with his charity, the British Asian Trust. I'm a very proud ambassador. I do a lot of work with them to raise money for, you know, people that are less privileged than ourselves. And yeah, it's just it was wonderful, you know. And it was so funny because when I was performing there, it was the first time I think and they'd invited, you know, a young South Asian to perform for them at their palace, at St James's Palace. And I remember I was singing and I was performing, and then I kind of broke all protocol because I decided to jump off the stage and go straight up to the king, as he is now, and he was with his wife Camilla, and I said, I want you to call Camilla, you're Mehbooba. So one of my songs is Mehbooba. So I sang that song there, and it was really fun. They were chilling, and I jumped off stage. I could hear everyone in the room like, "Oh, I can't believe you just did that!" I shoved the mic. You know, you're not supposed to do that sort of thing.
Right.
But I don't know. I was happy. You know, when you're performing, you get in a bit of a fun mood, and I did that, and he did it so cool. He was like Mehbooba, just very very casual. And now, whenever the king addresses an Asian audience or South Asian audience, he'll always say, you know, I'm very proud to be here with my Mehbooba. And so yeah, so that was nice. It's a very, very special moment.
जी
And you know, also being able to sing for our Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji when he made his first state visit here
जी
at Wembley Stadium. It's nice. It's very special.
जी तो नवीन, आपका वैसे यहाँ पे आप बहुत सारे लाइव कंसर्ट्स करते हो, कभी कभी दिल करता है कि मैं इंडिया में जाके भी एक मतलब करूँ पूरे लेवल का?
I would love to, absolutely. I would love to have some of my songs in Bollywood. You know, I write. A lot of people tell me actually some of my songs, like Tere Liye, for example, like this should be in a Bollywood movie.
जी
And that again, I think is also like we were talking about Ittifaq and Kismet. I think
Right.
that will happen when it's time to. But also, there's so much work here. You know, I've traveled a lot of the world, and I feel like now with the internet, with everything digital, like the music is traveling there. You know, I do have an audience in India that listen to my music and they follow it. So it's nice. I think I've always been told to kind of break into Bollywood, you have to be in Mumbai.
right
And because I'm so busy with work here and all my commitments here, it's a little challenging for me to leave all of that to go there. Whereas actually, I really enjoy being an independent artist. And if one of my songs, you know, ends up in, you know, we might have some famous director watching this interview now, and if you like the music and you want to use any of the songs, hit me up, give me a call, and we'll make it happen. But yeah, you know, I'm very happy with the music kind of reaching the audience organically, and the rest is, you know, you never know. I'm sure it'll happen one day.
जी और नवीन, अगर बात करें हॉबीज की, म्यूजिक की, थोड़ा सा हटके
Yeah.
थोड़ा आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ बताते हैं दर्शकों को, क्या क्या करना पसंद है?
So I love movies. I love to watch. I love Netflix. I would sit down on Netflix and watch it all the time.
जी
I love watching YouTube videos. So I really enjoy. I'm very fortunate to live on a beautiful lake here. So I love going out for walks. I love spending time with my family, spend time with my wife. You know, I love going out to restaurants and, you know, dining out, eating.
yeah.
Yeah, just that kind of thing.
तो मन में आता है कभी कि मैं एक्टिंग की तरफ भी जाऊं?
Wow. Not initially, but then I got approached for a few roles,
जी
and so I wasn't sure. I turned down a couple, and then I took on one, and that was an Eros Now production. It's called Operation Cobra, and I played like a spy agent. I actually played a double role in that. It was my first role. Played double role, and now I've just signed my first musical. So I'm making a theatrical debut in it's a brand new musical here by a really lovely reputable theatre company, South Asian company called Rifco Theatre Company,
जी
and our musical is called Frankie Goes to Bollywood, off the back of Frankie Goes to Hollywood, the group, and it's a lovely musical.
जी
So I've just signed now, just got announced last week that I will be making my debut in musical theatre. So yes, the acting is happening,
जी
and I think musical theatre is a really interesting space because it combines singing and acting and dancing all in one,
जी
and they're the three things that I love to do. You don't always get to do all of them on stage, and you know, when you're just a singer and just performing.
जी
Now I get the opportunity to do that, so I'm very excited about that.
दैट्स वेरी नाइस एंड आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई।
Thank you so much. Thank you.
तो ये तो हो गई एक्टिंग की बात।
Yeah.
मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन यही था, फ्यूचर प्रोजेक्ट्स। एक्टिंग का तो आपने अभी बताया,
Yeah.
सिंगिंग में अब हम नेक्स्ट एल्बम कब?
Yeah, so I've actually I'm not releasing albums. I think
Singles.
now it's a singles market,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah. So I've got about 7-8 songs that are ready. They're ready to go. Probably when the camera's off, I'll let you listen to a couple of them. we'll have a little private listening session.
जी
But I want to make sure that I finish them nicely and I present them all to everyone properly, and they're released nicely. So yeah, lots of music coming out this year. Some really interesting collaborations as well, which I'm very excited for you to hear. And then aside from music and the musical, I've also kind of set up my own concert production company,
जी
and so we tour a concert called Voice of Legends, and I've been doing this now for about 3 years. We started with and we kind of go through the decades, so we started from 50s through to the 80s in 2 concerts, which was lovely. It was Mohammad Rafi Saab, Kishore Kumar ji, Lata ji, all those greats.
जी
And then last year we toured the 90s edition, which was so much fun.
जी
In 90s edition, you asked me about my hobbies. I love to work out and gym and stuff. And I sang that song from the 90s edition, which is Salman Khan's song. जाने जाना ढूंढे तुझे दीवाना सपनों में रोज़े आए आ जिंदगी में आना सनम. And obviously I teased that on stage, and everyone was like, take your top off, because that's what was his big thing.
जी
So in a fit of madness, I said, okay, yeah, next time when I come to the concert, I'll do that. So then, you know, I kind of got in shape. I started working out, nothing but protein, and you know, like no fun food, not like this, like we have here. So got in shape, and we toured that, and we're going to tour it again this year as well. So that's the 90s edition of Voice of Legends, where we get to pay homage to all the greats, all your favorite 90s Bollywood music, mixed with some. This concert's going to be unique in the sense that we're going to mix some of the 90s music from the Western world as well
जी
with those songs. So that's a real dream project for me, and that's all coming this year. So I'm very excited about that.
जी नवीन, आपने ना एक मिसाल जो है ना ट्रेंड सेट की है, मिसाल दी है लोगों को जो बनना चाहते हैं, जो हमारे यंगस्टर्स हैं, गायक बनना चाहते हैं, सिंगिंग फील्ड में आना चाहते हैं बेसिकली ना. तो जैसे आप इंग्लिश पे आप ज़्यादा मतलब बोलते हो, एज अ कम्युनिकेशन की बात करें, बट आप गा भी लेते हो पंजाबी में, हिंदी में. सो लैंग्वेज बैरियर तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है सिंगिंग में. जस्ट जो आपने किया मेहनत से सारा कुछ है ना. तो और सिंगिंग में जो आना चाहते हैं लोग, उनको आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहते हो? कौन सी उनको चीजों को ध्यान में रखने की जरूरत है और क्या करना चाहिए?
You know, my mentor, Pandit Dinesh ji, said something to me that stayed with me for all my time. It's very simple. I'll share it with all of you. He said, look after your art, and your art will look after you.
बिल्कुल.
And it's that simple. But in that, there are so many layers when you think about it, because all that means is remain dedicated to the music and your craft.
Right.
If you've been given a gift, like I feel like I have a natural voice that I've been gifted with, and it's my duty now to look after that, to nurture it, to train it.
जी
So spending time doing riyaz, watching what I eat, staying in shape, and not getting into music for any of the trappings of a famous life, because you often hear about singers and artists that end up drinking too much, or they end up with drugs, or they go into the industry with girls, or they do it for the fame and the money, and that's, you lost sight of the art then.
बिल्कुल.
You know, when you remember that actually art is there to enrich your soul, enrich people's lives,
जी
then you can't go too far wrong, I
बिल्कुल.
think. So that's my only advice. And like you say, music is a universal language. And now more than ever, I find that there's more of a mixture of languages in songs. You know, I take some of my favorite, like I remember a few years ago, I took one of my favorite songs by John Legend. It's a song called All of Me, and I wrote one of the verses in Hindi. And it became one of the most played songs at weddings. I was invited like all over the world to come and sing that song live for first dances,
जी
because the world is actually a small place.
Right.
It's a beautiful small place, and now we're more connected than ever.
जी
So, you know, if I wanted to throw some Spanish into the middle of a Punjabi song, it's not unusual. It's just music.
जी
So wherever you are in the world, wherever you're starting from, you know, just follow your heart, follow your dreams, but do it for the right reasons. That's what I'd say.
बिल्कुल। और मैं अपने दर्शकों को बता दूँ कि नवीन का जो कहने का मतलब ये था कि अगर आपको बहुत ज़्यादा सक्सेस मिलती है,
Yeah.
तो अपने पैर जो हैं वो छोड़े ना, ज़मीन पे ही रखें, अपनी
That's what
जड़ों
I
को
meant.
मत
That's a better way of saying it, actually. That's an
जी,
easier way of saying it.
अपनी
Keep your feet
जड़ों
on
को
the
मत
ground.
भूलें, बिल्कुल। और अगर आपको निराशा मिलती है तो इतना भी उसमें निराश ना हो जाएँ कि आप ये सोचें कि नहीं, ज़िंदगी अब खत्म हो गई।
You're so right, because the one thing that I will also say to everyone that are interested in music is the arts, the lifestyle of an artist is one that is full of a lot of setbacks, a lot of rejection before you get success.
बिल्कुल,
And don't be disheartened. We've all gone through it, we all face it. Everyone struggles with that, whether you're in the media, whether you're in, because it's not a defined route. You know, if you want to be a doctor, you've got to study for this many years. You're going to graduate here. You're going to make this much money. Then you have these options.
जी,
With art and music, you don't have that.
सही,
You know, but you can have a wonderful career. And so I'd also encourage like the families of children and people who want to, you know, pursue a career in arts that's not conventional, to just support that, you know, because it's very, very special.
बिल्कुल,
And they can have a very enriched and fulfilled life. It's wonderful. I mean, I never thought, my whole thing was I want to write songs and take them around the world. And now actually my songs take me around the world,
राइट,
you know, and it's beautiful. You meet people from all over the place, you know, so yeah, it's
जी।
wonderful.
और जाते-जाते हम गिटार
Yes. Yeah, I will sing. I'll just perform a little song for you. This is probably the song that changed my life. It's a song called Tere Liye. I'll just do a few lines for you. इन आँखों में देखूं तो कुछ खोया सा लगे, इन होठों पे ये हंसी झूठी लगे, तेरी इन बातों में कुछ छुपा लगे, तेरी अदाएं भी अलग सी लगे, प्यार के समुंदर में तो इन लहरों में कोई तुमको नहीं है पता, तेरे लिए दुनिया भूल जाऊं, तेरे लिए मेरी जान, तेरे लिए सारे दिन सारी रातें, तेरे लिए आसमां।
वेरी नाइस,
Thank you so much.
थैंक यू नवीन, आपसे बातचीत करके बहुत अच्छा लगा।
Thank
आई होप आपको आज का दिन हमारे साथ और हमें आपके साथ
It's-
बहुत अच्छा लगा,
It's been lovely. Thank
आपको
you.
भी अच्छा लगा होगा पंजाबी ऑडियंस से कनेक्ट होके और अपनी पिछली बातों को, मेमोरीज को याद
Yeah,
करके।
absolutely. It's been lovely. I wish you well. God bless all of you, and thank you so much for coming down, for blessing our home. It's been lovely.
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ
Take
ਮਚ।
care.
ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਬੇहद ਪਸੰਦ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਨਵੀਨ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹ ਪੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਚਾਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਦ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਬਾ ਕਮਾਲ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ। ਸੋ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਅਗਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਚਾਹ ਦਾ ਕੱਪ ਸਨੇਹਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਲਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਲਿੰਕ, ਨਜ਼ਰ ਹਰ ਪੱਖ ਤੇ।